believe there's like a personal promised land there. Accepting where you are in the job search, accepting where you are in life, accepting where you are in certain relationships, and not accepting it meaning that you can't change it, but really taking a look at, have you fully accepted it? With this job search, for example, have you fully accepted whatever the situation is? Maybe you were let go, maybe you've moved on and you're still somewhat attached. You know, maybe a relationship ended, and maybe this is harder than you thought. Maybe this is something different than what you thought it would look like. But if we can get into acceptance, that's when creativity and solutions and action start to flow. Accepting, by definition, simply means that you make a conscious decision not to fight the fact that something is real, or to judge or wind yourself up that it shouldn't be happening. Accepting empowers you to work towards a better outcome rather than remaining stuck with negative emotions like anger, anxiety, shame, hurt, regret, all of that. Think about acceptance in every area of your life. What if you accepted people for who they are, how they are, what they do, what their opinions are? What makes it easier to do that is to find freedom in the acceptance of having the ability to see that, you know, people have the right to be their own unique person. That means they have the right to have their own feelings, thoughts, and opinions. And when you accept people for who they are, you let go of your desire to change them. So in your job search, just take a moment to think about that. Like, have I actually accepted where I'm at with this? Did I just climb a corporate ladder for 30 years and it didn't work out and I'm fucking angry about it? And I haven't like fully accepted that yet, because if you haven't, there's not going to be a lot of free-flowing creativity to have solutions and new connections and do this networking and be your authentic self. So where in your life could you be more free if you leaned into acceptance of the situation and acceptance of the person? Because then that's when the brain gets rolling and you start, okay, oh wow, okay, I can call this person, I can have this conversation, and maybe we can get things feeling really good again. We all know there's nothing we can do about the things fully beyond our control, but that's why it's vital that we fight to do the things that we can control. The wounds of the past can only be healed by successes of the present. And what I mean by that is, right now, if you were to have a direct connection to a company that you have your eye on and it's super fucking exciting, likely you're not going to be thinking about all the shitty things from the past. So we always want to be going for like fruitful things in the present. The name of the game is how fast can we bounce back? What systems do we have in place to recover from something like that? Even if all of you got your dream job offer right now, great. But we want you to be in a place where you never feel powerless again, that you don't have a network to dip into, that you don't feel like you're in a place to be so valuable in the marketplace that you could find something even more exciting. They don't really define us. Like, we're so much more than the ups and the downs of this. And the more comfortable you get with rolling with the punches, the more you're going to grow. So for those of you who are new, I just want to show you real quick the formula again on the T thing. So you have the circumstance, whatever it is, could be big or small, and then you have your thought about it, which dictates the emotion about it, which then dictates the action or inaction, and then you have an outcome. So just to throw out a quick example, let's say the circumstance is I'm unemployed. Some of the immediate thoughts that come from that circumstance is like, I have failed, I'm ashamed, I've wasted time. I mean, it's really endless, right? Then you got the emotion, sadness, anger, you got, some bodily like anxiety there. And then we all know what actions would come from being in that place, which would likely be nothing, or maybe even like lashing out. I've had people be really regretful on like attacking maybe past coworkers or something, but basically just sitting in that negative emotion. Then we know we're not getting any outcomes. Then the name of the game here is not to make the thought amazing. So if you're on the negative end of the spectrum, I'm not expecting you to go to this like sparkly place, but where's the next thought that you can get to that brings you to at least a neutral space where you get back in the driver's seat, somewhere where you can feel good, a thought that can feel good. Now, instead of being like, holy shit, I failed, this fucking sucks, I hate everything about this job search, and staying there where nothing's gonna get done. I mean, I have people, it takes them months to even set up their like automation because they stay here about the job search, about the unemployment, because they haven't accepted it. So there's resistance. But let me throw some thoughts your way. You might even still be in this boat on and off, right? Because it's an up and down roller coaster. But some of the thoughts could be like, hey, I dodged a bullet. This gives me an opportunity to find something amazing that I didn't even know was out there. Like, hey, I hired a coach. Like, I have the best, most cutting edge software to help me get networked with people really fast. Those kind of thoughts about it tend to generate here the emotion of at least comfort, like ease, like, okay. Or it could go to excitement, which then might allow you to book that call for your resume, to book your call for Aspharis. So if you ever see yourself bouncing back to this fucking sucks, I don't know how I got here, be like, oh my God, okay, I have to change that thought to get me to a place back to being excited. I think somewhere along the line, many of us fell into this belief system that failure or bad experiences or negative things, that everything has to be perfect, that you're not going to experience all that shit. Life is 50-50, 50% awesome and 50% shitty. How are we dealing with the shitty parts? And those are the negative emotions, the negative things that happen to us, the trauma, the things from the childhood. How do we navigate it? And sometimes it'll leave us feeling super stuck and then not moving forward. And the problem, if that happens in this program specifically, is then we don't have anything to tweak. So like if you find yourself totally stuck because you're in those negative thoughts and emotions, we don't have anything to work on. What would it feel like if you gave yourself permission to move forward, even knowing that it's not going to be perfect and that some shit could happen? That to me starts to sound exciting because I've worked on that up here so much. But back in the day, I might have been really scared and thought maybe it wasn't worth it to go through all that, or that I wasn't worth it. If you guys are feeling stuck in any way, we have to look at why. What is the thought about the circumstance that has you feeling so stuck in a negative emotion that there's no action coming after it, or an action taking you in the opposite direction? And it doesn't have to be big stuff, like massive mindset changes right now. If you can do one thing that makes you feel really good, then that's evidence your brain can collect that things are going to turn out great. You can start to accept greatness, but the greatness includes the shitty stuff. I think that was the biggest shocker of my life. I was a super like hippie, gypsy, everything's great and perfect and wonderful. Well, when I started to realize, no, actually some shitty things have to happen too, I was like, oh, okay. But then what were the stories I was telling myself? That every time something went wrong, I made it about me. It was so fucking personal. Everything became so personal that it was so dramatic. And how can I start to take things a little less personal, not about me and who I am? How can I take the most madness out of this at once? What can I put together that somebody can turn to and get out of the madness? Because you're right, that's all that it is. If we're not either in action to accept change or whatever, that's all drama. And that's okay that we're gonna fall into that. Oh my gosh, if you guys seen me, I'm a drama queen. Like most of the time, if it's something serious happened in my life, like it's not fucking worth it. I'll look back on my little losing my shit barb and I'm like, oh, because it just drained my energy. It just took me in the wrong direction. It's gonna happen. At the end of the day, it's just not worth it, And again, so the name of the game is how can I get back in the driver's seat of this and get out of the madness and chaos? Think about how much more time we would have on our calendar or our day, the 24 hours of our day. How much more can we have fruitful, joyful moments in the job search and in life? How can I stay out of the madness a little bit more than I did yesterday?